Alrighty, guys, welcome to tonight's charting session. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. It is Wednesday, October 18th. We ended up taking 3 trades on the live today. I took 2, and Johnny took 1, all winners, so we went 3 for 3. Really good day. I'm up $4,000 on the day, so we'll go over those trades. We're going to go over my bias going into the day, any trades that you guys took. I know there were some opportunities later in the PM session for short, so we're going to go over that as well. And talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow and the rest of the week. So, looking at going into the open here, the biggest bias that I have was pretty bearish, and I was expecting to see a continuation lower, but I was expecting either a slow melt or just a straight up dump. And I probably, again, if I had to pick one, slow melt or dump, probably was to pick slow melt because, again, there's no red folder news day. It's going to be lower volatility, right? So going into the morning here on NQ. Right when this gets ran through, I'm pretty confident that this now becomes the draw on liquidity. So, again, coming into the day, I have to have some sort of bias, right? My bias is short. I want the draw on liquidity to be this low. So that's what I'm going to be using going into the morning. I'm expecting this 1 hour fair value gap that we've been consistently bouncing off of. If I zoom in here, you can see we came down, bounced, we held this, came down, bounced again, came down, bounced again. When we finally run through this, I'm expecting this thing to act as an inverse. And look how much that we respect this 1 hour inverse fair value gap this entire time today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We touched this 7 times and continue to hold this to then sell back to the downside, right? So you can tell how those bigger time frame imbalance control the narrative and control where we are in price, right? We hold this area so much, and right when we break through it, it now acts as resistance. So going into the morning, I was very patient because I wanted to see us start to form new structure. I wanted to see either us to form buy side, look to see a rejection, and then look to see lower. That was kind of my biggest thing. I wasn't really looking to take longs unless there was a long setup. I was most likely looking to see, again, what did we talk about yesterday? Bigger time frame, rejection on an imbalance, displacement to the downside, some sort of stop rate, and then targeting some sort of internal trade, right? And then, of course, in favor of whatever that bigger bias is. And that's exactly the trade that we took today for the shorts. So on the 15-minute, I'll take this off just so it'll be easier to see here. We had this 15-minute fair value gap, and this is what I was looking for price to come back into on NQ and sweep these buy-side levels that we have. So zooming into the 5-minute, I noticed that we had these buy-side levels. We had a nice 15-minute imbalance. I was looking for price to run up, reject this, get displacement down, and then look to see lower. So that was the first trade we took today. Zooming in on the 1-minute, we ended up coming up, and then rejected consequent encroachment really nicely, and then started dumping. So I was looking to see if I could get an entry. This is when I went to my smaller time frames, like the 15-second. And the reason I went to the 15-second and the 30-second here is because we're trading like a 5-minute high being broken and a 15-minute rejection of that fair value gap, right? So a lot of the times I'm going to zoom in and take those scalper entries. So we ended up coming up. Could have possibly taken this, but I was kind of waiting to see the first reaction first. When we came up, we rejected this. I then took this second imbalance, and a lot of the times, the question I got for this was, why didn't I wait for discount? And the reason I didn't wait for discount is for this specific trade, this is more just off of experience, if I'm being honest. When we get this kind of move here, I'm expecting to see a fast sell-off to at least this low. So I entered on this pullback to this 15-second or this 30-second fair value gap. I entered short, continued to hold. We came up one more time to test this, rejected, and then we ended up selling off. I was in 4 or 5 contracts at the time. I took 4 off here, and then I had 1 runner to see if we were going to, have a dump, and then I got stopped at break even on the rest of those contracts. So that was the first trade that I took going into the morning. Again, notice what we talked about last night, right? What is my eyes? How do I think? How do I get quality setups, right? You have the bigger time frame draw, which is lower, right? Bigger time frame. We've run that imbalance. I want to see down here. Look for a stop rate in the opposite direction, right? Stop rate in the opposite direction. We're sweeping internal buy side and rejection of a bigger time frame imbalance, that 15-minute fair value gap, and then you zoom in to find some sort of fair value gap as an entry, right? So that's when you're going to find the best setups. So next trade that I took was this internal scalp targeting these equal highs here that I really liked. Now, I didn't really plan to take this trade, but when it started to play out, I was like, oh, this looks really good. I'm really confident in this. So when NQ ended up coming down, did we form? I'm not even sure if we formed SMT here or not. I don't think we did. No, we didn't. But when NQ ended up coming down and sweeping these relative equal lows here, we had big displacement back up. And I noticed that we had a nice 30-second imbalance here. Now, zooming out on the 1 minute, we didn't really have, I don't know if we had an imbalance there or not. We didn't. We had an order block that we were holding. But I was really liking the 30-second. The 30-second was getting really respected today. And the reason why the lower time frames kind of played out really nicely today is because we were so choppy. We were slow melting, and that's when those slower time frames kind of play out. So I waited. I was kind of not really looking for short or for longs until we came down and held this. So when I saw us sweep this level, we got big displacement back up. I'm like, okay, we're starting to accumulate up here. This is now forming buy side. We came down, we swept this little internal low, and then we got big displacement back up, holding this imbalance. So now I've kind of gotten everything that I want to see. And then I was like, all right, once I saw this move to the upside and we formed this imbalance right here, I knew this was going to be a really nice scalp because I'm confident that we're at least going here. I'm not sure if we're going to go all the way back to these highs, but I know for sure we're going back to this internal model, right? Because we have sell side swept, displacement up. I waited for the first fair value gap to hold and then took the second imbalance, targeting the internal level. I was really confident with that. So this was a nice scalp, and that was the second trade that I took today, and I'm really happy with those two scalps because those were really nice. So two scalps I took in the morning. Any questions on those trades? Just on those two trades for now. You can see we came down to and respected this 15-second really nicely, tapped this perfectly. The market structure shift is this move. Again, there's no... I guess you could say, I don't really care to see a market structure shift here. It doesn't matter where you put it. All I'm noticing is we get a big move up to the upside, and when this fair value... Again, what's being respected, what's being disrespected? When we have sell-side swept, we get this big move back, again, all the way back to discount of this entire range, and we come down. Again, we're forming these equal highs here, and then we get displacement up, and then another imbalance. That's a great long to target that internal level. And the reason why market structure shift doesn't matter here is because I'm not targeting this external buy side level. Really clear? Awesome. Would you have taken that second trade if we had swept that internal buy side beforehand? No. Yes. Yeah. No, I would not have. Great question. If this high had already gotten taken, I would have not taken this trade. If this high was taken here, I would not have taken this because I know that stops are now accumulating here. And then notice right what happens afterwards. Again, guys, recognize what the algorithm is doing, right? Recognize what the algorithm is doing here. If this high had been taken, there's really no reason for us to pump here. There's really no reason for us to pump here. But when we come up and we form relative equal highs, so we now have two stacked highs up here, and everybody that's now in short, all the people that have been up short now and in shorts are now trailing their stops to all these highs here. Where do you think market's going to push to? We come down, hold this imbalance, retrace back up. Notice what happens right when we take this level. All of those buy stops now get taken, and then we just dump right back to the sell side and sweep the low of day. So great question. Confused on how you know if it's being disrespected. Does it have to close below the wick so you can show a trade example? Notice, again, the displacement out of it. Again, it always comes back to displacement. Notice the displacement out of an imbalance, right? Now, there's two fair value gaps. I want to see the one in favor of the draw get displaced out of first. And then the next fair value gap, I don't care to see the displacement. It'll be my entry. So for this specific example here, we have a big 15-second or 30-second. Wait, I'll go back to the 30-second. We have a 30-second fair value gap here. We have sell side swept. So now I'm still bearish on a bigger time frame, but that doesn't mean that this trade is bad because it's an internal trade, right? It's not targeting buy side. It would be a bad trade if I was targeting up here. If I was to target up here, I would then look to take it somewhere here because then we have a new sell side level swept, and then we have actual big displacement through the previous high. Here, there's no market structure shift. This here is just an internal model right here. So the displacement I'm looking for is what's being respected, what's being disrespected. These fair value gaps have been ran through to the downside now. And when we come back to this imbalance, I'm looking to see if this holds or not. That's my mindset. I'm like, okay, we didn't take this previous high, so this can now act as buy side. This could be somewhere we want to go. If we come back down to this bullish imbalance and we don't run through this to the downside and we hold this and we displace back up right? We displace this candle right here. Again, displacement equals a fair value gap. Imbalances will be created when we displace. Then that's telling me that the draw is going to be these equal highs here. So when we come back down to this and I see this hold, again, I'm not looking to just blindly long this. I'm not looking to blindly long this. I need to see this get respected first to validate that my bias is now the draw on liquidity, which is these equal highs here. Internal draw. And then I take that second imbalance once I've already seen this respected. Make sense? Do you always wait for the first fair value gap to hold before taking an entry on a second fair value gap when trading internal levels? Yes. And you'll see if you do that with your trades, you will have a much higher win percentage and you will be faked out a lot less. If you wait for the bigger time frame imbalance to be respected first. Yes, this is a stop rate. Because you can see after we took this high, there's no displacement here. We sweep this and we dump to sell side, which is this internal low. Justin, do you agree that there wasn't much opportunity for high probability trades on higher time frames? I watched all morning and didn't see a good opportunity and didn't feel comfortable with scalps yet. Yeah, if you don't feel comfortable with scalps, then that's fine. I personally thought there was really good opportunity today, but on lower time frames. So again, if you're not comfortable trading smaller time frames, then that's fine. And again, prices, again, you'll get to a point where it really depends on what kind of trader you are. But again, price is fractal. The same model that you're trading on a bigger time frame, you're going to be able to find on a smaller time frame. But it's just faster execution, which means, more stress, more anxiety. And that's something you just have to get through and you'll get good at over time. Like, you got to realize there's not a lot of people. Like, you have to look at what I'm doing. Like, I trade on a 30-second, 15-second chart with thousands of dollars worth of capital in front of hundreds of people on live. And I'm fine, right? Like, all it is just being comfortable with it, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time with you being comfortable with it. Again, being able to accept loss, accepting the risk on the table. It's just being able to be comfortable with yourself. And the biggest time where you'll be comfortable is when you have confidence with your edge. Because then you stop second-guessing things. And you get to a point where it's like, I don't care what happens here. And that's what I want you to get is I want you guys to get to a point where you don't fucking care if you win or you lose. Because the game of trading is you come into the day having a repeatable setup. You look for that setup. You check off all the boxes. When you get that setup, you put a defined risk on the table. And if you lose, you lose. And if you win, you win. Doesn't matter which one happens. Because the next time you come into the day, if you still think about whatever that happens, that's when the whole cycle and that's when the whole system starts to fall apart. All trading is a repeatable system that you have conviction in. And you can't break that repeatable system because that is what's actually making you money long term. Trading is a longevity game. So the best traders in the entire world are the best losers. If you lose, you snap it out of your head because number one, you're not losing. You're losing what you can afford to lose, right? You should be. And if you win, you journal and you say, hey, this was a great trade, right? But you have to go into the day expecting to lose as well. Right? Because that's what's just going to build up emotion and build up the tolerance of just being able to take, not have any sort of emotional attachment whatsoever. Not that important, but I'm trading on a 150K account. How many contracts do you think I should trade for NQ? I trade pretty aggressive on my eval, so I would say 3 contracts on NQ. Did you enter on 30-second or 1 minute and repeat the last statement about second fair value gap? You'll get higher win rate. If you wait for a bigger time frame imbalance or you wait for the first imbalance to get respected and then you take the second one, you'll have a better... A lot of you guys try to get sniper entries. And like, for example, I've come to find out, like, I'm actually going to drop game here. 2022 model, like, again, let's say for a bigger time frame, we have this imbalance. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's say this is what we're looking at, right? Great trade. This is the best, what we want, right? Draw on liquidity, let's say, is lower. Bigger time frame imbalance. Buy side in favor of the draw, right? We're stop rating this and looking to see displacement. Let's say I'm looking at a 1 minute chart here, a 1 minute chart. How many of you guys are trying to take shorts right here? How many of you guys are looking to take shorts right here? Be honest. How many of you guys are looking to take shorts right here? Okay. Now, this is not bad. And the only reason I say it's not bad is because I've given you the best case scenario for you to be taking shorts right now. Okay? I've given you equal highs, bigger time frame imbalance in sell side, and bigger time frame draw. Okay? But let's say this is not the case. Let's say buy side swept, maybe even not a bigger time frame imbalance. If you take a trade here, let's say you took let's say this is what action happened. This is exactly I'm going to basically play out what mostly happens with you guys. And tell me if I'm right or wrong here, or just maybe I'm dumb. But this was my problem was. Is I'm like, "Oh my god, internal got swept, we're having displacement. Let me short this. I'm looking to see that move now." Right? And then I'll put my stop at this high here, right? I'll put my stop at this high. And I'll be like, "All right, we're coming down. Oh, we're coming down. Oh, we get to move up. Oh my god, I got ran. Oh my god, I got ran." Right? We're not ready yet. Oh my god, I got ran. And then we take this high one more time. And then we come down, we get displacement, and then you're trying to short this. You're like, "Oh my god, internal model here. Like we got swept here. We got displacement down. We broke this. I'm going to take a short here." Again, you're taking a short. You put your stop at the high. Looking to see lower. And then you just run higher. Right? Wait for more structure. I need to see what I wait for. I don't care to catch these sniper entries. I don't need to catch a 1-7, 1-5, 1-4, I don't even need to catch a 1-3. 1-3s are great. I want to catch a 1-3 most of the time, at least. But 1-2 is fine. 1-2 is fine. Because 1-2, I'm going to have more conviction in, and I have a higher percent win rate than I do. So this is what I'm waiting for. Let's say all of this now forms. We come back down one more time. We end up forming equal highs here. So now what ends up forming here? A whole low resistance liquidity run area. So then I'm like, all right, now that we have all this structure here, again, we haven't had displacement back to the downside yet. We have really no significant, notice, there has been no displacement through any low here. We have a low here, got swept, no displacement. We have a low here, no swept, did no displacement. Have a low here, swept, no displacement. Have a low here, swept, no displacement, right? So I'm waiting. And then we're like, oh. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I'm ready to possibly short here. Why is that? Because now we actually have displacement to the downside. You can notice that we're actually starting to shift. And guess what? I'm not looking to take this for value gap. I mean, this is fine. You could maybe look to take this. I'm looking to most likely take this for value gap. And the reason why is because, notice, no imbalance before this to the downside had been respected yet. So you're guessing that it's going to be respected. And a lot of the times you'll notice is when we actually have a market structure shift, you'll notice bullish for value gaps will get ran through and we'll start respecting bearish for value gaps. This whole move to the upside, oh my God, we run all of these bearish for value gaps here. We run all these bearish for value gaps here. And then we break this. We run this bullish fair value gap because right now I don't know if we're going to hold this to the upside, but we come up, respect this, get even more displacement down. So then this is now giving me even more confidence. That's like, all right, now we're ready to go. And then, my first target will probably be this low, and then I'll look to see lower, right? And then guess what? Bigger time frame, this probably becomes a breaker. And then I now have a more existing bias, right? Let's say that bigger time frame fair value gap was still in play here. And now I'm really looking to take some shorts, right? Now I'm really looking because now my bias is exactly where I want it to be. I'm not guessing when we're going to sell off. I know that we're probably going to reject here. So you could maybe take a trade. Like, again, there's multiple ways you could take it. You could take a long here, put your stop all the way up here, and then target this, right? You could absolutely do that because you're trading a fractal. You're trading fractal systems. And on a bigger time frame, if I was to zoom out, I have no idea what this internal action looks like. I'm just taking a fair value gap to go short, right? So there's multiple ways you can trade it. But if you're trading internal like me, wait for the displacement and wait for don't trade all this. You guys are trying to catch tops. Wait for displacement back inside the range. Wait for it to be super clear. Even if you don't catch these trades here, I would much rather have you be in this position now because, again, what am I looking for now? Stop rate in the opposite direction in a short. That's going to be the highest quality setup. Maybe we have a breaker here. Maybe we sell off even more. Oh my God, we're selling. Let's say we're here and I still want to take a short. Guess what? Let's say there's a 5-minute fair value gap here and we don't come back to this breaker. What do I want to see here? I'm not looking to take a short down here. I don't care if we dump. I don't care if we dump at all. Because guess what? That's building bad habits if I'm going to chase this. The only way I can chase this to the downside is if I zoom into a 15-second or a 30-second, because I'm saying this is like on a 5-minute, because this is a 5-minute fair value gap. The only way I'm going to chase this is if I can zoom into a 1 minute and I can see a stop rate and I can see good risk to reward, and then maybe I can take a scalp. Other than that, I want to see boop, boop, boop. Oh my God, we're waiting. We're coming back to an imbalance here. Oh my God, we're coming back to an imbalance. Guess what? What am I waiting for here? I'm not looking to blindly short this because I don't know if we're going to run this. I don't know if we're going to go back to this breaker. I don't know anything. Let's say we come up and maybe even fill this. Maybe even fill it again. Stop rate that one more time. And again, one more time. What are you guys doing here? How many people would be shorting this fair value gap here, right? Right here, when on this little pullback, once you're starting to have a move, just for it to come up one last time at this high here to stop you out, and then it starts to go, right? I'm telling you exactly what the fucking market is meant to do. It's meant to fuck you, and I'm trying to save you from being fucked, okay? Because I've seen this shit happen 1,000 times, and I've been through it 1,000 times. This is why I don't take these entries anymore. I wait, right? So now, hey, guess what? This is everything I need to see now. Screenshot this. Everything I need to see now. Right? Everything I need to see for me to take a high quality entry here. This is the best area that I want to be in. Bigger time frame imbalance has been respected. If I don't get the entry up here, that's fine. We now have displacement. We're coming back up. We've respected this breaker. I've now waited for us to come up. I'm not looking to short this just yet. We come up, sweep internal. Again, I'm not looking to short this just yet either. But now we've actually gotten displacement out of this imbalance. We've broken structure with a lot of displacement. Now I'm looking to take any imbalance. I really don't care if it's here. I don't care if it's up here. Anywhere I enter, I'm going to put a stop up here, and I'm going to let the first PT be this internal low, and the second PT be this external low. This is the highest probability setups that I have, is when I wait for everything. I need everything to happen. Because how many of you guys how many of trades have you guys lost like this that I just explained? The ones up here, the ones right here, where you're just, you don't know what you're looking for yet. You think you know what you're looking for, and then you get stopped, and then it goes back in your favor, right? The draw on liquidity, a lot of you guys are easy with finding the draw on liquidity. Execution is the problem. Execution is the problem because you're not familiar with what the algorithm is looking for, right? So at this point in time, I'm like, all right, looking to take a short now. And this is everything I need to see. And again, notice the risk I'm here. I'm taking most of my contracts off at this low. Unless we're super bearish and the draw is like really low, then I'll look to take it here. But this is the highest probability setups that I'm looking for. Make sense? Screenshot this if you want. And one thing too, you want to know what helped me with this? I would take weeks, or I would take days where I would be so picky with my entries until I got something like this. Because a lot of you guys, I'm looking to take shorts up here already, and then you get FOMO when you get this move, and then you get FOMO when everything else. I would wait for the trade to be so clear. It to be so clear that it would be stupid of me not to take it. It would be so clear. Like everything was on point. And your market, again, you'll get to a point where your market experience and your eyes will start to kick in. Where you're like, I've seen this before. This is going to melt. Trust that. Trust your intuition. That is what your market experience is building up to. The more that time goes by, you're going to start to be like, this is going to melt, or this is going to pump here. This is going to, whatever it is. Use that to your advantage. Trust that, because that is your market experience starting to kick in, right? So maybe take a day, 2 days. Be so picky that the trade is so good that you're just like, this is going to melt here. I'm entering with good risk. And watch how much your win rate is going to be. All right. Let me erase all this stuff here. On your first trade, you had an RR of 1-1 stop, 6-4 entry, 4. Does that go back to what you said before about experience and knowing it would be quick to move to sell side? Yes, absolutely. And my risk was definitely, it shouldn't have been 1-1. It was probably, it should be more than that. Let me go back. It was definitely more than 1-1. One 1.8, almost 2. Almost 1 to 2. But again, when I'm confident in something, I don't really care if it's a 1-1 trade. If I'm very confident that we're going to sell off, or I'm super confident we're going to pump and it's a 1-1, I really don't care. Can you look at the scalp? It's pretty risky, I'm not going to lie. If we form equal lows here, you have no idea if we're going to pump through this or not. Now, I like that you did wait for... Again, I would probably... this is just me, but if you're looking at this, well, I'm going to even go down to like a 15-second and then wait for the rejection. But I'm glad that you took it on this candle and not... actually, never mind. You did take it on this candle, so I take that back. You have no idea if this is getting ran through or not. You have no idea. Even though we form equal lows, you don't know if these equal lows are going to get taken beforehand. You need to see a bigger time frame rejection first. So I would say this is a chase. The only way I would allow this is if you waited for that rejection and then look to take an entry on the 15-second. Again, right here, like we just talked about, right? Wait for the rejection first. Again, you'll start to notice all of the best wins that I take all have some sort of rejection first. All have some sort of rejection or hold that is giving me a bias, right? On the second trade, we come up, we push up. Sell side's not swept. So my bias is already leaning bullish now. Intraday. Not on a bigger time frame, intraday. And we come down, and I'm looking at this imbalance here, and I see us hold this and then pump up. Just by looking at this. Just by looking at this here. What do you think is going to most likely happen here? What do you think is going to most likely happen here? This looks so clear. Now, I don't have any confidence that we're going to go here. Now, it might be okay to leave a runner, just in case. But I'm very confident that we're going to come up at least to here, right? Just from based on the structure. But I don't know that again, this is the way that I like to think about it. Do you know more that we're going to go to this high looking at this chart or looking... Oh, what the fuck? Come on. Looking at this chart right here or looking at this chart? Which one gives you more? Because guess what? When I'm looking at this, do you think I'm going to take a long right here? Do you think I'm going to take a long right here? No, I'm not taking a fucking long right here. Because I don't have enough context, right? You need context. There's no context for me here to take any sort of trade. But when I'm constantly looking at this, I'm like, all right, I'm still watching. Oh, we're starting to get a really nice move out of this. We're looking strong. Oh my God, and there's a fair value gap here, and we're going to continue higher? Wow, this looks like a perfect long entry to target these little equal highs here. Didn't wait for market structure stuff on the short. I'll tell you exactly why I didn't. Because notice the displacement. Notice, again, that's why I said it's based off experience. No, and I'll tell you, and I'll try to explain why. Number one, notice the time frame. This isn't a very big time frame. If I'm normally looking to take a short, what do I look for? right? What do I look for if I'm normally taking a short? Like a 1 hour, like a 30-minute high being swept, 15-minute high, 1 hour high being swept. This is a 5-minute high being swept in a rejection of a 15-minute fair value gap. So I'm expecting a very quick move, right? A very quick move. When I zoom into the 1 minute and I see this move to the downside, that's all I need to see. And again, what do I wait for first? What do I wait for first? I wait for the first fair value gap to get respected. I'm not looking to guess. I'm not looking to guess if we come up here first or if we come up here. If we come up, I wait for this to get rejected first, reject, and then I take the second one. And then we sell. So again, everything I needed to see on my checklist was there. And again, it doesn't matter if I entered. It doesn't matter if I entered. Because again, Johnny took this. Or Johnny took the short here. But you could enter here and have it stop above here. That's still a very valid trade. It's all perspective and all how you want to trade it. But the bias is what you're focused on. The bias is we just stop rated this high here, rejecting off a bigger time frame imbalance. Right when we get displacement out of this, it doesn't matter if I enter here. I'm confident we're going to this next low. And it doesn't matter if you enter because all you need is good risk. If you have good risk, that's all you need. Would you say this was also an early entry? Should I have waited for displacement up first, TP? No, I like this. I really like this. This is a great trade. And the reason why is because, okay, you have the draw. You have your equal highs here. You have these lows here that's been swept. You have internal now swept. And you get a big displacement move, right? Notice there's no displacement here. Notice there's no reason along here. But boom, you get a big move up. And these equal highs are not taken yet, right? So buy side's no longer taken. So the draw is most likely still here. We come back to discount to the imbalance that was created, and then we pump. So yes, this was a great trade. All right, let me clear the chart up and let's talk about what we're looking at going into. Actually, wait, let me check the news real quick. Is Powell speaking tomorrow, huh? I honestly probably will take, I think we might just take tomorrow off because Powell's speaking and we had a good day today. Well, it's not FOMC. Powell's just speaking. But would it be bad to trade morning? I would not trade. Again, this is the decision that you have to make. You know that Powell is speaking tomorrow. You know that Powell is speaking tomorrow. If you have never traded before when Powell speaks and you don't recognize that thing, then maybe you should trade tomorrow so you can learn a lesson or two. But for those of you who have traded on news days like that, what's the percentage that you most likely make money? What's the percentage that you most likely lose money? Just, that's all I'm saying. You know, if you trade tomorrow and you take a loss, don't be upset saying, hey, why the fuck did I trade today? It's your decision. Okay? So I will not be trading tomorrow. I will not be on live tomorrow. I will be watching. Tomorrow is a backtesting day for me. Most of the time, Powell speaking, I'll either lower my size or I'll backtest. So if I see a setup, I'll take it on a paper trade or I'll take it on an eval account, see how it works out, but I'm not risking a lot of capital. Again, those are the defense is very important in trading. I know that you guys are going to be, oh my God, I'm so upset. I can't get my spoon-fed alerts tomorrow. Blah, 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 blah. I know you're so upset, but I don't care. I'm not going to burn cash. I'm not going to burn cash knowing that we have high event news tomorrow. And we're going to most likely probably going to get slower action. But we'll talk about my bias anyway. I am very bearish going into tomorrow. I think that we're going to melt. Looking at the daily on NQ, I think the draw on liquidity is going to be this 4-hour low that we have. This is where I'm expecting price to go. Depending on what happens in the overnight session or not, I honestly maybe expect to see a slow melt in the overnight session. We'll see if we continue lower or not. But depending on what happens in the overnight session, we'll see what I'm leaning. We could have a move to the upside beforehand, before continuing to sell off. So that's a possibility. Again, we have a huge breaker that's now starting to form here as well. So Still going live even if you do not trade? No, I'm not going live. Yes, we'll do a session tomorrow. We'll do a trading session. We'll do a trading session tomorrow, and we'll go over all the action that happened throughout the day. We'll see if there was any setups that we could have taken, and we'll talk about what we're looking at going into Friday tomorrow night. But I will not be going live tomorrow to trade. Jiffy will give you alerts. How about that? Jiffy will give you alerts in the channels. Ain't that right, Jiffy? All right. Tesla had bad earnings, but Netflix knocked it out of the park. Not sure if this will push or pull on Q. Again, I could not tell you. Who knows? First trade, I was looking at going for external buy side since I was locking in a 5-minute time frame. Second was looking for external as well. Third one was more confident since we held inverse for buy gap. Did this first trade get stopped at break even? Is that what I'm looking at? Or did you enter on this candle? Okay, it's okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I like that. I like the trade that you took here, just for, again, building confidence with an internal. This is like a trade that that Dodgy would take, like an inverse trade. You have sell side swap. Once that fair value gap got ran through, it should see the most recent high, so that was nice. But that's what you have to keep in mind. There's no conviction that we go to this high yet, because this is the displacement move, right? To then validate that the draw is higher, and then we go to buy side, right? So if you're in this long here, take at least something off at this high. At least something off at this high. If not most of your contracts. If not all of your contracts. Have a good one, brother. I'm in an internal scalp. What do you think? It's just a paper trade. You're in a scalp right now? Oh, €1? I mean, again, the only reason why I say this is bad is because you're not taking a trade in favor of the draw. You're not taking a trade in favor of the external draw. Now, I know that's counterintuitive because I did the exact same, but since you're taking this on a way bigger time frame than you should be, there is no reason. Again, you have to understand. You have to ask yourself. There's no reason. You have to ask. Oh, okay. Let's get into this because this is. I'm glad you sent me this. Okay. The difference between my scalp that I took on NQ this morning, long, even though this is against the bigger time frame draw, is because there's a reason for us to go take that high. There is a reason for us to go take that high, right? Now, I have no conviction that we're going to this high right here, but I have a lot of confidence that we're going to at least this high. And the reason is because we're most likely looking to stop hunt this. And then I then see that this, hey, guess what? My bias is right here because this was exactly what I expected it to be. A stop hunt on these highs to sell off to take new lows. Right? On the Euro trade, and then keep in mind, this is also on a 30-second time frame. This is super, super zoomed in compared to what you are taking, which is a 15-minute time frame, which is on a 15-minute time frame, the draw is lower. So you're taking a long on a 15-minute time frame, and on the 15-minute time frame, the draw is most likely going to be lower. Now, is this saying that this trade can't work out? No, not at all. This trade could absolutely work out. But what's the probability of us going back to this high? What do you think the reasoning is? Is there an overlapped imbalance here? No. In fact, we've actually just rejected this 1-hour imbalance. Now, even though we swept sell side here, does it really matter for us to go back to buy side? No, it doesn't. Even though we swept this low, there's no reason for us to go back because, again, bigger time frame, the draw is still lower. This is now a market maker sell model to the downside. So do I think you'll get stopped here? Maybe, probably. But don't, that's just my 2 cents. I'm not saying cancel your trade because it could work out. It absolutely could work out. Absolutely. but it's understanding where you're taking the trade, right? In the overall context. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter if it works out or not. It's understanding the habits behind it, right? Because I don't want you to take this trade, win on this trade, and then take this trade 10 more times and get stopped out eight or 9 out of them, right? Got a lot of value out of being able to go back on the YouTube live today to rewatch you taking the trades in real time. Not sure if others got value from that too, but it would be cool if you could go record them in the future and we can go back and watch them. I've been thinking about doing so. It's just I got to figure out how to edit them. Because the way that I record OBS when I normally do lives is I record it through, I record it through two things, so I can go back and edit it. But when I go on live, it's just one overlay, so it automatically just uploads to YouTube because it's just recording one overlay. So, all right, that is all I have for you guys tonight. Again, charting sessions are my favorite part of the day. I prefer charting sessions over our live trading just because this is where the learning actually happens. So, hopefully you guys got something out of the night. Drop some gems for you guys. Drop some knowledge. Hopefully you enjoyed. Get some rest. I will be taking tomorrow off since Powell is speaking, so stay safe if you are trading. I will be watching at the charts in the shadows. I'll probably be in the chat watching, so enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you all tomorrow night for the charting session, and we can go over tomorrow's action. So enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you all then. Peace.